Hello and welcome to the show. You know, it was Dr. Maya Angelou who said, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Words many of us can relate to, including singer and songwriter Charlene Keyes, better known as Tweet. She chopped the R&B charts in the early 2000s with her hit song, Oops, Oh My. But after her sophomore album, she took a 10-year hiatus, and now she's back with a new album and a story to tell. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It is an honor to meet you, sis.
Same here. It's an honor to meet you.
Listen, I love that this starts with a girl singing in the church choir in Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York.
Tell me more about little Charlene.
Little Charlene was a church girl from Monday to Monday. Went to church.
Got it.
And was with my mom. She had a prayer band, which was a collective of women that used to go around the city and pray for people. I was right there on her tail, on her tail coat, hanging on. But that's I grew up quartet music. My mom and dad were in quartet groups, so I grew up a church girl.
Yeah. So when did you make the transition? And how was that transition received from Mama?
Mama, she didn't mind.
Okay.
Especially people ask me, how did my mom like Oops because of what Oops was about?
Yes.
My grandmother loved Oops.
What?
Yes. She had my whole picture on her wall. Like, I don't mind, baby. I know you might be singing about something, but I don't mind. I love it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you got some love from the family. That's always important, especially when you're transitioning from a gospel setting into mainstream.
Absolutely.
One of the things I think is so interesting is that I heard where you said you were never pressed about being, in your words now, a hip-hop chick.
No.
Or being the lead singer.
Or being a solo artist.
Or solo artist. So how did this happen? We know that there was, you were with a group at first. So how did this happen?
Well, I started off in a gospel group from high school. So me and two other girls were in a group. And then I was in a rap group, right? I was. And then Devontae from Jodeci came to Rochester. They did their last album, and he had a collective of artists, which included Missy, Tim, Playa, and he had this girl group, Sugar. So I auditioned to be in Sugar, and that's how I met, your favorites, Tim and Missy. And that's how I started. But I never wanted to be a solo artist until Missy pushed it out of me.
Yeah. What did Missy say that made you realize, you know what, I have the vocals for this? Well,
she didn't really say anything. She always used to push me into positions to be a solo artist.
Okay.
And she overheard me hearing, because I am a songwriter, so she overheard me playing and was, what are you doing? And I performed a song for her, and she sent me to Sylvia Rowan. I got a solo deal. I'm like, no, I was nervous. But I did it. Yeah. And I'm here.
And here you are, right, blowing us all away all these years later. One of the stories I love is how Missy ended up putting you in touch with one of the greatest, Whitney Houston.
Yes. Well, that happened by accident. I met Whitney. She used to come by the studio all the time. But back in the day, there were CDs.
Right.
And as songwriters, you would send another artist a collective of whatever songs you want them to cover.
Yeah.
And my song just happened to be on there by accident, but it was God.
That was no accident. That is exactly how God intended for you to connect with Whitney Houston.
Absolutely.
And she loved the music.
She loved the song. I have to have the song. And she recorded it.
So how did you, when you know that you're about to meet Whitney Houston, what's going through your mind? Was there still some element of, oh my gosh, or were you just already,
Every day was that. Every day, even when she came to the studio every day, it's like, oh my God, this is Whitney Houston sitting right here, you know? And she was just so down to earth and loving, and I just loved every minute of it.
Lessons you learned from Whitney.
Whitney, be yourself. She always would say, don't let nobody tell you how to do what you want to do. Just be yourself.
Did you really take her clubbing in Miami?
I did.
Help me understand.
I did. Well, when we finished recording, sometimes we had to go out and just party for a moment. She, that night, she was like, I'm going with y'all. I was like, no, you're not. We pulled up to the club and she enjoyed the whole, she put her hat to the back. We went in the club and we had a ball.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that some of the life lessons Whitney shared with you came in very handy when you were going through some of your own hard times, right?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about some of the challenges when you walked away. There was a point where it was hard. There was smoking, drinking, isolated. what was that time period for? Like, what were you going through?
Well, that's from the second album. The record companies merged, so they didn't support me, and they didn't really know what type of artist I was, because at that point Sylvia was gone, so and I didn't have no kind of support. So
and you went into this thinking you were going to get to do music your way,
my way.
But
and
the merger changed
The merge
everything.
changed, yep, and they wanted me to be a hip hop artist, because it was more of a hip hop label, and I was just forced to say, I need to get my spirit right now. This ain't working for me. So that's when I took the hiatus, moved here to Atlanta in a hideaway, you know.
Yeah.
And just got my life together. I went back to church and rededicated my life to Christ and did all of that whole time, but still writing songs. Yeah.
How does that sort of, just going back to your center, your core, your beginnings, how did that help?
It helped because, you know, I always, God has always been the center of everything. And I knew if I got back to Him, I would get it together, and He would bring me back to wherever it was. Because that was my thing. Either I'm going to do it or not, but it's up to Him to let me know. But I know I was created to be here to do just what I'm doing.
Right,
so,
which is creating music. Because you've never stopped.
No, I didn't.
Even though we weren't necessarily hearing you, you've been writing for a lot of folks.
Absolutely.
What is your process like in staying plugged in to the music that you love?
I don't really have a set way of writing. It could come when I'm in the bathroom, when I'm driving, so I don't really have the formula of how I do it, but I just write emotions, and all of my songs are pages out of my diary, so you'll know what I've been through, what I'm going through, and those are the best songs, when they're relatable songs, when they're absolutely what you're going through.
Yeah, and I understand you wrote Oops, Oh My just as a gag. This was a joke.
It was a gag, for real, and I wrote it not with that track. It was a whole different, totally different track. I wrote Oops to. And I'm riding in the car in LA with Missy, and she put on the song, the music, and I started singing it silently. She was like, "What you over there singing?" I said, "I got something for that." And I started singing it, and she said, "We're doing it tonight." And we did the song in one night, one take, let's go, it's done.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So by the time you're shooting the video that we all remember, if you know, you know, grown folks, you already know. Were you like, I can't believe this has turned into this? I was just humming this in a car.
Right, it happened overnight like that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's the success that we know, but I also appreciate you opening up about the stories and the hardships we didn't know. And this conversation is going to continue because Tweet may have taken a decade off, but after the break, we're talking about what her journey back to the stage has been like. Stay with us. We'll be right back.